Happy New Year, Capricorn. It's January 2016. I'm Dadhichi from astrology.com.au. Some of you know me, some of you may be new. Welcome if you are. And a brief synopsis for what's happening during the coming month for you. And in case you weren't aware, I have mentioned before that the sign of Capricorn has been transited and will continue to be transited by Pluto for some time to come. Extraordinarily intense. It really activates. It can transform, but usually before doing that it can demolish a few things in its way to achieving that particular end. And in January it's also important because end of December, January is the month of Capricorn. So as well as having Pluto there, you've got the Sun transiting, so that's going to activate your Sun sign. We call that the solar return for Capricorn. And as well, we have the transiting Mercury there, which after the, let me have a look, the 6th of January will move into its retrograde motion after moving into your second house of finance. So what can happen there, Capricorn, is that you've got some plan to move forward financially, only to realize that you may have to do an about face on that. So my advice on that, straight off the mark, would be to, rethink your plans over any sort of financial matter, any communications surrounding money, income, as that planet Mercury will do its little backward dance up until it moves direct, what we call stationary direct, back to its normal motion on January 26th. But it will be a little while after that till things can resume their normal course. So again, I'll be saying even after that date, you shouldn't be too quick to sign on the dotted line of any sort of contracts or make firm agreements until you have all the information at your disposal. You have your ruling planet still in the 12th house. That's not even halfway through the sign yet, so you're going to have to bed down and deal with this one as a long-term transit as well. Pardon me, not quite as long as what we see in terms of the transit of Pluto, but most certainly one that is causing you to question yourself, question your life, and to look beyond the normal material sort of level that has been attributed to Capricorn in most astrology books anyhow that I see. The fact of the matter is, from my experience, that Capricorn, especially in the latter part of life, can become very spiritual. And that doesn't mean throwing away all your hard-earned cash and possessions. It simply means you develop a newer understanding, a new awareness of the significance of these things in your life, and you're able to value your contribution to life and society in a very different way. So that's the sort of thing that's happening there. One thing, however, that 12th house is a house of recovery, hospitals, yes, spirituality and seclusion. So, for some of you anyhow, I think this period will be one where you need to, take a step or two back, reappraise where you're going, and just balance the sort of investment of time and energy that you're putting into the projects and the work that you're doing. Even, might I say, the relationships. Because let's have a look at that, on the 9th, we have a conjunction. The transiting Venus will make a direct hit to your ruling planet Saturn in that 12th house. So you could be reappraising your relationships, or there are a few possibilities with these transits. Someone you love may not be well. A child, perhaps. Venus rules your 5th house of children and love affairs. And as well, we see on the 4th, Mars moving into the 11th house of your horoscope, directly opposite this 5th house. So that can be a problem for those sort of people mentioned in your life. There could be some help that needs to be given. You need to do some charitable work. You need to support them, service them, and be there. There could be some health issues that some of them are struggling with, and this is a time for you to, prove that Capricorn is not just a money-oriented bastard. I've told you, you're not, but the perception of people sometimes is exactly that. Here we will see that compassionate side of your nature coming through, as we will see generally with this long-term transit of Saturn in the 12th house. Now, the other important transit, it's one of the lunations, is the new moon taking place in your sun sign. That takes place on the 10th. The new moon really signifies, I think, out of all of the signs, for you particularly Capricorn, that the New Year's resolution in 2016 is going to be an important one. It's going to be significant. And I think you're going to see this as a very important component of moving forward and fulfilling your life in the coming years. I say that because as well as it being a new moon in your sun sign, it is going to happen simultaneously while Pluto, the transformative planet, is transiting this area of your horoscope. Now, for some months previously, for those of you that are regulars here, you've heard me talking about the transformative influence of Pluto. And some of you may also be thinking, hang on, Dadhichi, I've been waiting for this transformation, but it hasn't happened. One of the likely times that can happen is after the new moon takes place in your sun sign. So I would say that the coming few months is going to be a really decisive change for some of you. This may not even really relate to anyone else other than how you perceive yourself. So it could be regarded as a self-esteem new moon. There is also a full moon taking place in the 8th house of secrets and psychological transformations, death and rebirth, which is the 8th house, Leo in your case. That takes place on the 24th. Need my eyes on to see that. That will also, I believe, be an extension of this new moon that's taking place on the 10th. So those are two very important dates to watch out for. Although I'm not going to say the heavens are going to open up on either of those dates, but they are significant shifts in energy, transformational energies that can take place, and you will start to see a change, being felt in your life throughout the coming period, 2016. Just a couple of the other significant transits. I've mentioned the transit of Venus to Saturn on the 9th. Venus is a very friendly planet for you, a lovely trine aspect, which is again a spiritual aspect on the 13th, Venus to Uranus. Uranus, a slow-moving transit also in your 4th house of family and domestic circumstances. Something unexpected but positive, because the trine aspect is a positive aspect. And that could be good news regarding that person I mentioned earlier that may be in some sort of dire straits or having some problems. They could surprise you. There could be a turnaround in their circumstance, and that will bring some happiness or satisfaction. Be careful around the 18th because there's a square to Jupiter. Haven't talked about Jupiter. It's in your 9th house with the North Node, and this is affecting, may have talked about it a couple of months ago, affecting your philosophical and ethical views on life generally, and that right angle aspect of Venus to Jupiter could indicate you're a little bit maybe too expressive about how you feel about something, and excess, not just verbally or intellectually. That can also have to do with financial matters, because this 12th house, which I didn't mention to you, has a lot to do with expenditures. Being in the trine aspect to a planet in your 4th house, which is your home and your family, could indicate a barrage of expenses which are not challenged. In other words, this could be a spending spree. You may actually decide you want to spend a whole lot of money. Be careful of that, because this is all happening against that backdrop of retrograde Mercury that I've been talking about. You may regret that, even though it's fun at the time. The aspect of Mars as well, a trine aspect to Neptune on the same date, that could be part and parcel of that. It really fulfills some ideal and gives you a sense of accomplishment, being in the 11th house of the fulfillment of your life desires. Neptune being dreams and visions and spirituality in your 3rd house of communications and travels. This could well be an unexpected trip or journey that you decide to take, but costs could spiral out of control, and you'll be smiling all the way to the credit card bill. Be careful. Again, wait till after that direct motion of Mercury to make sure that you haven't sort of dug a ditch for yourself. Venus does move to your first house, the sun sign, on the 24th. That's a very welcome aspect, being a very friendly planet. Brings with it some relaxation, some social activities. Good news for your relationships too, because that means it's going to cast its full aspect on your 7th house of love affairs, marriage, long-term commitments. Business partnerships too can flourish under that particular transit. As well, that Venus transit is going to be lovely. It does a 60-degree, what we call a sextile aspect, on the very final day of the month to the 3rd house. Again, this may have a lot to do with journeys, travels, also educational pursuits are indicated by this 3rd house. Good news from neighbours too, because the 3rd house rules those people in your vicinity, and this could be a bit of a social time with them. Well, that was a lot of words. I hope you took that all in. You can always replay it. Don't forget though, if you want the textual version of this, astrology.com.au. I've also just uploaded the yearly overview for each of the 12 signs, including yours there, Capricorn. I hope you'll join me there. And again here next month, as usual. Take care. See you soon. Bye for now.